London Poetry and Analysis by Bowen Yao
and Joesph Zoldos. Hello, Miss Onaju. The poem that we will be talking to you about and analyzing today is a poem called London, and it is written by an author who went by the name of William Blake. Here are the lyrics to the poem, and I will read them to you. I wander through each mapped street, near where the mapped flames does flow. A mark in every face I meet, marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's curse blasts the newborn infant's tear, and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. Now I'll be reading to you the paraphrased poem, which is more of a simpler version of the poem and one that you might understand a bit better. I wander through each mapped street, near where the mapped flames does flow, and a scar in every face I meet, scars of weakness, scars of woe. In every cry of every man, in every cry of infant's fear, in every voice, in every band, people trapped in handcuffs I hear. How the children cry every dark church falls, and the hapless soldiers sigh, runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youngful prostitutes curse, blast the newborn infant's tear, and blights the plagues with marriage hearse. Now I'll be summarizing each stanza and what I see in their senses. Now, to summarize each stanza, we will be doing an in-depth look at what goes down in each of them. To start off, in the first stanza, he's describing what the streets of London are like and what he sees in every face that he meets. In the second stanza, he's describing Blake. He's describing what he hears in the people of all ages, whether it is older or younger, or even elderly ages when they are tired. Blake is then describing what he sees, but this time he's looking at the specific age group of people of London and what buildings such as places, palace looks like. Now in the final and the fourth stanza, he's describing the young people of London and what he hears in the young people in London. Now to describe the theme of the poem, in the poem that we have read to you, a person who went by the name of William Blake criticizes the London government for the lack and care of their people. By describing this, he uses strong words such as "in every cry of every man" and runs in blood down palace walls. By doing this, he creates suspense and creates interest in the reader to keep reading. Now, if I were to guess what happened if the story continued, the London government listened to Blake's poem and finally started to take care of their people and listen to their thoughts. Being in today's world, we all know how that turned what London turned into, because they are now a thriving city near the top of the world.
So these are the figurative language and devices. In the poem London, we see many figurative devices. There are repetition. In the poem, it says in every, marks of. In the second stanza of the poem, Blake repeats in every. He shows the misery in the common people and instills a sorrowful mood in the readers. Sadness appears everywhere in London, and people are living in a world with no color. Blake criticizes the monarchy by using the emotions of the citizens. The unhappy people causes the city to be colorless and an unhappy place. There are also imagery, such as runs in blood down palace walls. Blake creates a picture where sorrowful soldiers sigh in misery. The blood falls down the walls of the palace, showing how cruel the monarchs are. The soldiers' lives has been taken away by tyrants. The tone of the poem makes readers feel depressed and colorless. There are also some metaphors, such as the mind-forged manacles I hear. In the poem, Blake compares the minds of people in London as being forged manacles. This causes the citizens in London to be trapped in their lifeless minds. They don't fight for a better life or for a higher social class because their minds are fixed. This makes the reader feel helpless and hopeless about life. Some other sound devices found are sonnets, such as in every voice, in every band, alliteration, and the hapless soldier's sigh, and rhyme, flow and woe, wall and appall, tear and here. This is the definitions of the devices. The meaning of assonance means a repetition of the sound of a vowel. The definition of alliteration is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of a sentence. Rhyme means correspondence of sound between words or the endings of words. Repetition is used to create rhythm, and bring attention to an idea. At last, metaphor is a word or phrase that is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. This is some of the words people might not understand while reading the poem. Harlot means a prostitute. Manacles is a metal chain or shackle for fastening someone's hands or ankles. Hearse is a car that carries coffins. Hapless is unfortunate. Charter, the authority or authorization. And blackening means to darken. About the author. William Blake lived in London, United Kingdom in the 1700s. He is best known for poetry and visual arts in the Romantic ages. And the reason why Blake wrote London is to illustrate his experience when he lived there and wished that he could encourage a revolution on the streets of London. This is some of
Now,
the
here are some
sources.
of the sources that we used.
Yeah. And thank you for listening.
Just press the screen record button.